This primordial void, this sacred nothingness, is a theme present in many ancient traditions. In Taoism, it is known as Wuji, a state of infinite potential and stillness that precedes the dynamic interplay of yin and yang. From Wuji comes the universe, manifesting as the balance and flow of energy, like tai chi in motion. In the same way, our reality is built on energy. To liberate ourselves from the limitations of the matrix we live in, we must understand and influence this energy. This fundamental truth has been deliberately suppressed. We've been conditioned to rely solely on our senses and to get lost in the material world. We've been taught that the only reality is the one we can touch, see, and measure. But the truth is that the immaterial dimension, what we cannot see or measure, is far more real and potent than the physical world we obsess over. Before we incarnated into these bodies, we were pure energy, one with the divine, fully aware of who we were at our core. But as we took on the illusion of 3D existence, we became trapped in the false narratives of the material world. The key to unlocking our true power lies not in what we see, but in rediscovering the energy that courses through us and understanding our place in the vast cosmos. The truth is there, hidden beneath the surface, and it's time to awaken to it. The relentless pursuit of material possessions and achievements has become a blinding rat race, a cycle in which most of us are trapped unconsciously. We chase after material comforts, believing that they will lead to ultimate peace and happiness. However, mystics and spiritual masters, including figures like Jesus, understood that every soul comes into this world with one true purpose: to awaken to its divine origin, to attain enlightenment, and eventually to reunite with the light from which it came. This idea transcends the material pursuit and leads us toward a deeper, more spiritual journey. Hindu and Buddhist teachings emphasize the concept of samadhi, the art of merging with the divine. When we are born and take on physical forms, our conscious minds become distracted by sensory information and the physical world. Yet deep within every soul is a knowing and inherent awareness of its origin and a longing for reunion with the whole, the divine source. This process of returning to the divine, of reconnecting with our highest self, is known as samadhi. According to Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, samadhi is the ultimate stage of meditation, achieved after years of ethical practice, physical discipline, and mental concentration. While samadhi is still widely practiced and understood in the East, the West has been deprived of this ancient knowledge. The authorities, particularly the Church, were aware of the power of such mystical teachings and actively worked to suppress them. They destroyed sacred scriptures containing profound spiritual truths and sought to control the narrative of enlightenment. These teachings, like those of samadhi, were not just confined to Eastern traditions, they were once a part of the Western consciousness as well. But due to the Church's influence, the West became increasingly rational and materialistic, moving away from spiritual traditions that could not be controlled or institutionalized. In many spiritual traditions, death is regarded as the ultimate liberation, the moment when the soul merges with the infinite, entering a state of pure consciousness, bliss, and oneness. It's a natural cosmic process, the final return to source. But true mastery is not just about achieving samadhi after death, it is about achieving it while still in the physical body. Attaining samadhi in the body requires extraordinary discipline, dedication, and deep inner transformation. It means breaking free from the grip of desires, attachments, and sensory perceptions, forces that typically keep us bound to the material world. Achieving this heightened state of consciousness while in the physical body is the true mark of spiritual mastery. When a seeker achieves these elevated states of awareness, they begin to see the world through a completely different lens. Their actions and decisions are no longer driven by ego, fear, or selfish desire, but by a deep understanding of the interconnectedness of all things. They transcend the limitations of the material world and begin living from a place of alignment with the divine. They act from a space of wisdom and compassion, deeply aware of the unity of all life. This is why concepts like samadhi were deliberately omitted from the mainstream spiritual narrative. As I delved deeper into my studies, I uncovered that the West's intellectual and spiritual landscape was intentionally limited, particularly by the Church. Historically, science and knowledge were controlled and regulated by religious authorities, who made sure that only knowledge which aligned with their doctrines was allowed to flourish. The Church, particularly the Roman Catholic Church during the Middle Ages, held immense sway not just over religious matters but over intellectual and scientific research as well. It wasn't just about banning ideas from sacred texts. The Church restricted entire realms of study, especially when it came to scientific inquiry. The Church became so deeply involved in the regulation of science that it prohibited any research that did not align with its Christian worldview. For example, while the study of the heavens was permissible, it had to conform to the Church's geocentric model, the idea that the Earth was at the center of the universe. Any theories that contradicted this model, such as Copernicus's heliocentric theory, the idea that the Earth revolves around the Sun, were met with fierce opposition, and scientists who dared challenge the official narrative were punished, sometimes severely. Galileo, for instance, faced imprisonment and persecution for daring to teach heliocentrism. This censorship was not accidental. The Church understood the potential danger of knowledge that could awaken people to their true power, to the divine within themselves. The suppression of this knowledge was a calculated move to keep people dependent on external authorities and to prevent them from accessing their own inner wisdom. Spiritual teachings, mystical experiences, and transformative practices like samadhi were not meant to be controlled or commodified by any institution. They were meant to be the birthright of every soul to help us reconnect with our divine essence. Sadly, this knowledge has been buried underground for centuries, but the truth is still there, hidden, waiting for us to uncover it. As more people around the world begin to awaken to the profound, transformative teachings of ancient wisdom, we are rediscovering the path to enlightenment. We are slowly breaking free from the illusion that our happiness lies in material wealth, external validation, or following the rules set by a controlling system. We are remembering that true power comes from within, that we, too, can achieve samadhi and merge with the divine while still walking on this earth. It is time for us to reclaim that knowledge, to heal from the wounds of suppression, and to reconnect with the light that we have always been. The Church, with its rigid views, needed a standard text to maintain control over what was considered truth. Any texts or ideas that didn't align with the official narrative were suppressed and destroyed. Galileo's support for the heliocentric model, which suggested that the Earth revolved around the Sun, was met with harsh opposition from the religious community. His advocacy for this groundbreaking theory led to his infamous trial in 1633, where he was forced to recant under threat of punishment. Despite this intense censorship, Betty believes that the knowledge of our divine potential, our ability to create our own destiny, has always existed in the collective human psyche. This fundamental truth has lingered just below the surface of our awareness, like a hidden treasure waiting to be uncovered. Imagine being in a vast, dark room with only a small torch to illuminate the space around you. The light from the torch only reveals a fraction of what's truly there, yet the rest of the room still exists, though it's beyond your immediate sight. This is how the secrets of the universe have remained hidden within us, accessible only when we expand our awareness. Each of us has access to this immense reservoir of knowledge, but it's only when we broaden our consciousness that we can tap into it. In today's information-driven society, the veil is lifting. More people are waking up to the truth as information becomes more accessible and the once dominant authorities, religious institutions, governments, and mainstream media no longer control the flow of knowledge. Questioning established doctrines is no longer met with the same severe consequences it once was. In fact, the questioning of traditional beliefs has become a sign of intellectual and spiritual growth, not rebellion. Quantum physics has also played a crucial role in expanding our consciousness. Once free from the influence of the Church, science began to explore the non-physical dimensions of reality, leading to groundbreaking discoveries. As the great inventor Nikola Tesla once predicted, The day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in 1 decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence. Quantum physics now reveals the existence of a vast quantum field, a space where everything is energy, and the lines between matter and energy blur into one unified essence. In spiritual terms, this field can be understood as infinite consciousness or God's energy. We are all part of this divine energy. We are the cosmic consciousness, immortal and creators of our own reality. In this infinite field, everything exists as pure potential. As creators, we have been gifted the power to choose a potential from this field and manifest it into physical reality. This is the quantum law of creation. So, how does a potential become a physical manifestation? The answer lies within us. Our inner world of thoughts, feelings, and emotions is the very source of our outer world. It's like a mirror. Whatever we project internally is reflected externally. The subconscious mind, like fertile soil, grows and replicates whatever seeds we plant in it. This realization empowers us to see the world differently. We are not passive observers of life, we are active participants, constantly shaping our reality with the energy we emit. It's a law of the universe. The more we align with our inner truth, the more we can manifest the life we desire. Understanding this divine law of creation is the key to unlocking our limitless potential and taking control of our destiny. The truth has always been with us, waiting for us to awaken to it. The power to create and transform our reality is within us, and it's time to claim it. Whatever we plant in the soil of our subconscious mind, it will eventually grow and manifest in our lives. If we sow seeds of positivity, joy, and elevated emotions, we will discover a life full of infinite abundance and happiness. However, if we sow seeds of jealousy, hatred, or helplessness, the subconscious will return those to us, making our reality even more difficult and miserable. It's a simple law of cause and effect. The energy we put out into the world is what we get back. Sadly, many people remain stuck in their current reality because they don't believe that meaningful transformation is possible. Not only do they doubt their own power, but they also question the very laws that govern the universe, like the quantum law of creation. The reason for this skepticism lies deep in the subconscious programming we receive from the moment we are born. This programming is reinforced by societal influences, traditional beliefs, and the limitations imposed upon us by the world around us. We are conditioned to believe that life is something we must passively accept rather than something we can actively shape. But the truth is that we have the power to rewrite our story at any moment, no matter how stuck or trapped we feel. Through conscious, intentional changes in our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, we can begin to shift our reality. As Neville Goddard wisely said, "Stop trying to change the world, for the world is only a reflection of yourself." Man's attempt to change the world by force is as fruitless as breaking a mirror in the hope of changing his face. Leave the mirror and change your face. Leave the world alone and change your conceptions of yourself. The reflection will then be satisfactory. This powerful message, which Jesus and countless other ancient spiritual masters have been trying to impart to humanity throughout history, transcends time, culture, and religion. It speaks directly to the core of our existence, awakening us to the latent power within us all. The key to transformation lies not in trying to control the world around us, but in recognizing our own power to shape and transform our inner world. When we shift our internal world, our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, our external world will follow. Throughout history, a crucial element has been hidden or even destroyed: images of the feminine. The feminine represents the heart, the center of feeling, love, creation, and even the cyclical nature of birth and death. It embodies the subtle, invisible forces of the universe, the very energy that shapes our existence. The suppression of the feminine energy throughout time has been a way to disconnect humanity from its own true power. When we reconnect with this feminine energy, we reconnect with the nurturing force that is the source of all life and creation. It's a subtle energy, but it is the very foundation of who we are and the universe we live in. By embracing this truth, we open ourselves up to infinite possibilities. The more we align with the energy of creation, love, and transformation, the more we unlock our full potential. The power to create a life of abundance, joy, and fulfillment is within us all, waiting for us to awaken to it. Once we do, we will no longer feel trapped in our circumstances, for we will realize that we are the creators of our own destiny. Let's remember, change starts from within, and as we change, so too does the world around us. Throughout history, the spiritual world has undergone deliberate attempts to suppress and remove the feminine, a force that is vital for the balance of creation. The ancient, forbidden texts reveal a deeply profound truth: the feminine is just as integral to the whole as the masculine. Both energies, though opposing, are complementary forces that bring harmony and completeness when allowed to flow together naturally. The feminine embodies qualities like intuition, receptivity, nurturing, and emotional depth, while the masculine represents action, logic, assertiveness, and structure. In their true balanced forms, these two energies work in perfect harmony to create a unified, cohesive whole. It is only when both the masculine and feminine forces are honored and allowed to coexist in balance that a state of inner peace, creativity, and alignment with the greater fabric of existence can be achieved. One cannot exist without the other; they are two sides of the same coin. Without the feminine, the masculine becomes rigid, disconnected, and incomplete, and vice versa. The unity of both forces is the key to realizing our full potential. However, as the power of the Church grew and its regulations tightened, the feminine energy was systematically stripped away from religious texts and teachings. The sacred feminine, which once held a central role in spiritual practices, was removed or reinterpreted to fit a male-dominated narrative. This was done to reinforce the concept of male dominance and portray men as the ultimate authority in both the spiritual and earthly realms. The official versions of the Hebrew Bible and the New Testament were manipulated to show God as a male figure, with men as prophets, disciples, and saints, while female figures were either ignored or marginalized. The Church's intent was clear: concentrate power in the hands of a singular, all-powerful male deity, one who could punish those who disobeyed and maintain control over the masses. However, the texts that were excluded from the official religious canon tell a very different story. These ancient Gnostic texts, such as those found in the Nag Hammadi library, present a far more balanced view of spirituality, one that reveres the feminine as an essential force. In these writings, the feminine is seen as a force of wisdom and insight. She is the counterpart to the masculine, the shadow that balances the male energy. The feminine is not a secondary, lesser aspect, but an equal and essential part of the whole. These teachings remind us that the feminine represents the subtle body, the nurturing, nourishing energy that connects us to the deeper mysteries of the universe. Yet, as monotheistic religions began to dominate, they emphasized the supremacy of a singular male god, rejecting the multiplicity of deities that once included many feminine representations of divine wisdom and power. This shift served to diminish the role of the feminine in spiritual traditions, replacing the goddess and female archetypes with male figures. The Church's focus on a singular, punitive God and its exclusion of the feminine aspect have had a lasting impact, influencing spiritual and social structures for centuries. As we reflect on this knowledge, it is essential to remember the wisdom of ancient spiritual traditions that encourage us to go inward, to explore the universe within ourselves. Practices such as meditation, visualization, and mindfulness are all powerful tools that help us shed the layers of ego and reconnect with our true essence. These practices guide us toward the ultimate purpose of our soul, to realize our divine nature and the power we hold to shape our reality. You are God in human form, capable of creating miracles and transforming your life. For too long, dogma and social conditioning have kept us chained to a limited perception of ourselves, but the truth is that we are free. After engaging with these teachings, you are no longer bound by the outdated doctrines and belief systems that have held humanity captive. The choice is yours. You can continue down the path you've been following, or you can choose the path of the mystic, the seeker of truth. This is the path that Jesus, along with countless other ancient spiritual masters, has tried to guide us toward a path that transcends religion, culture, and time. It's a path of self-discovery, empowerment, and awakening to the infinite possibilities that lie within. The question remains, which path will you choose? Will you continue to live in the shadows of societal conditioning, or will you step into the light of your true potential and create the life you were always meant to live?